Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast with your host, Mackenzie Rencher. I feel like I haven't sat down and talked to you guys in so long because I normally film on Tuesdays and it's a Thursday right now. So it's been over a week and I stick to my every 7 days. I sit down and chat with you guys. And so I feel like I have a lot to fill you guys in on. Today, I started a Parasite cleanse. I'm so scared. I've been wanting to do this for so long, but I've just been too scared to do it. And I finally did my research because I didn't want to do it incorrectly. And it was like, I don't want to call it a trend because apparently every other culture besides America does a parasite cleanse once a year where they cleanse themselves of all the parasites because it's normal to have parasites and apparently everyone has them. And so I was like, okay, if every other culture does this, why am I not doing it? And why does America not do it? And so I just started doing some research and it was like a trend a few years ago in America to do it. It's just funny calling that a trend, but people were doing papaya seeds. And then I read about how that can be really toxic and you have to be very careful with that and that it does help with parasites, but it also can give you some other symptoms that I'm not really down to have. So I opted in to do the Paragard, which I also did a ton of research on. And I am going to do 15 drops in the morning, 15 drops at night. And then if I tolerate it well, I'll just do 30 drops in the morning because I saw a lot of people just doing one take at a time. And then you're supposed to do it with a binder, which basically is just something that you take. I'm doing activated charcoal, but there's like 6 or 7 different supplements that are binders that you can take that basically just takes in all the toxin things that are going to be dying, binds them up and helps flush them out. It's just like so TMI, but like I will fill you guys in on what ends up happening with it because I know that it's going to be a crazy journey. I'm going to commit to it for 2 weeks because apparently I keep saying apparently, but this is just facts. The lifespan of a parasite is a month. Like by the time that they like lay eggs. Oh my God. The thought of parasite eggs being in my body really is going to make me throw up. But the thing is you have to ask yourself, are you fine with them living in you and you not knowing? Or would you rather know that they were in you and now they're dead? You know, you really have to ask yourself that question. And I think up until this point, the answer to that for me was that I was fine just not knowing. And now I would rather just them be out and dead. And then I'll just do an annual parasite cleanse where I kill them off every year. I mean, why not? The thing is we probably all have them and you have no idea how it's affecting your body. And that's what bugs me the most. I'm like, what if this is why I have so much brain fog? Because y'all know I have brain fog issues. And I feel like it's gotten so bad recently. And we already got like all the mold things figured out. We still need to do one other thing for it, which you guys have been asking for updates with that. So I'll do like a TikTok video or something about it. But we don't have mold. We figured that out. And we just have really high levels of VOCs, which I shared on here, but I guess some of you guys missed it because my last podcast clip I posted, some of you guys were asking. But yeah, so now that we have that figured out and we were kind of clearing out the VOCs in our home, I'm still have brain fog. And I'm like, okay, I take vitamin D. I realized I was deficient in that, vitamin C and iron. I'm really iron deficient. So my next step might be to do iron transfusions because one of my best friends sent me a reel of somebody talking about iron. Wait, what did I just say? Diffusion? That's not the word. Iron diffusion? That doesn't sound right. But yeah, iron diffusion, where they like will put it through an IV through your body and it just goes straight into your veins. And she was like, I'm 6 months postpartum. Is this how everybody feels all the time? Like has this much energy and like, is this clear mentally? And I'm like, what if that's what it has been all along? Because again, it wasn't just the brain fog is why I like started looking into the mold. It was like a ton of stuff, but that could be a reason. But anyway, I'll keep you guys updated with the parasite cleanse because if I find worms, I'm letting y'all know now, you'll never hear the end of it. And I will have a freak attack. And I don't know. Also, okay, this is just getting like too nasty now. I don't want to like take you guys there, but like when I look at the videos on the internet about it, people like show their worms and I'm like, I'm putting 2 and 2 together of like how y'all got these worms in your possession. And I just like don't like the idea of that. Like that is like not going to be me. And so I don't know. We'll see. I've heard horror stories about this as well. So You guys will get an update. You don't have to worry about that. Last week, now it's been a week because we went last Thursday. Darian and I went to Miami for a day because he had a meeting and a podcast. The podcast ended up getting canceled or rescheduled. And so he ended up just having to go to an in-person meeting there. And since he was just going for the day, I was like, what if we go together and make a day out of it? Because he lived there for 5 months a few years ago. There a few months. Wait. Hello? Did I just seize? He lived there a few years ago for 5 months. And I just fell in love with Miami. I love Miami. I love the air. I love the trees. I love the beach. I actually don't love the beach, but I just like to look at it. I love the restaurants. The food's so good. The coffee's so good. Like, there's nothing like traveling somewhere that you know you're not going to have to edit a coffee order. Like, for example, if I get coffee here, except for Unlocked here, that is the most iconic. And of course, it's owned by Colombians, and that's the reason why it's good. But I always have to edit my coffee order here, where I add a shot, I do less milk, I have to say half sweet or whatever, like, because everyone just makes coffee so sweet here, and it's not even coffee, it's literally just like milk and sugar, and I'm just like, help, I want real good coffee, and Miami just has the best coffee. And Darren and I just have a bunch of good memories there, and I loved being there so often, and so anytime I get a chance to go back, I want to go back. And I also got my eyebrows microbladed there about like 3.5 years ago. And you're supposed to go annually for a checkup, and I hadn't been in so long. And I got one other checkup, so it was time for another checkup. Guys, this is what I'm talking about, brain fog. Like, am I okay? It's not a checkup. It's like a fill-in or whatever. Like, you just go basically for her to go and touch up. Not a checkup. Gosh, touch up. Guys, pray for my brain fog. I'm so serious. I'm down bad. Like, I don't even realize half the things that come out of my mouth until they're already out. And that is just like not good. But anyway, got my eyebrows microbladed. They're in a dark, dark place right now. So don't judge them if you're watching on YouTube, because the whole process of microblading is you first get them done, and then they're obviously like red. You know, they hurt a little bit, just like getting a tattoo, kind of, not as deep, but essentially getting a tattoo. And then they get super dark, flake off, fall off, get too light, and then the color eventually comes back. So I'm on 7 days out, and you really don't see the full reveal until 2 weeks. So right now they're just like too dark, and I can't put makeup on them to like fluff them up or give them like the laminated look. So I'm just walking around looking like I have Sharpie eyebrows, and it's just like not cute. But I was having a conversation with Darian at dinner. We went to Kiki on the River, and I'd been wanting to try that restaurant for so long. And we were just sitting there talking, and I was like, we had gone shopping that day, which, by the way, I got the cutest Gucci glasses ever. I honestly should be wearing them right now in this episode. Like, I know that like the sun is not out, it's raining outside, but I should be wearing them because I love them so much. And anyway, we were in Kith. I saw these glasses. I said, okay, I need them. But while I was shopping throughout the day, it was just so funny how different the culture is there. And I've known this, of course. It's just completely different. These girls like came in from out of the beach. I don't know what they were doing, but they looked like they were probably in high school. And they walk in and they're like touching all the designer glasses, and they're like, should I get these? Do these look good? Blah, blah. I'm like, in high school, I wouldn't have never dreamed of getting anything designer. And they were just like talking about it, like, should I get a cheeseburger? Should I get a hot dog? It's like just so normal for them. And the culture there is just very, I don't know, it's just different. I was in another store, and this young guy and this young girl were in there, and you could tell he was like taking her on a shopping spree in Reformation. Reformation is like an expensive store. Like, the dresses there are no cheaper than $250. And I've never gotten anything in there, but I wanted to walk in there and just like browse, just because their stuff is so pretty and aesthetic and whatever. And he's just in there like, they're probably, I'm not exaggerating, no more than 20 years old. Like, this 20-year-old guy is taking this 20-year-old girl on a shopping spree at Reformation. It was just like, it's just so funny because like everyone there just like has money. It's very flashy. It's nothing to see a $500,000 car. It's just very, very different. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I remember a few years ago when Darian was living there, it was definitely hard to not get wrapped up in that world. Like, when you're there and you just see like this is just a normal lifestyle for everybody. Obviously, we were not living that lifestyle, but it's just very easy to get caught up in like thinking that that matters, or like caring about that stuff. And I was just talking to Darian about how if we ever moved there, because he was just saying that he like through his meeting, like, oh, maybe what if we moved here or whatever. And I don't think we would, not at least for like another 10 years until our kids are grown. But even then I'm like, it would really be hard to raise kids in an environment where you're like constantly having to remind them like this does not matter. And materialistic stuff does not matter. It does not add to your life or make your life any more or less interesting, whether you have it or not. And I just think Darian didn't really agree with me. He was kind of like, no, I just think like we would raise them like normal and just like pray that, you know, God takes care of them and hope that they see the way we're living our life. But I'm like, no, it would be hard for me too. And whenever you're raising kids, you have to think about like the environment that you're putting them in. It's like, if everybody at school has a designer person, like you're lame if you don't have a designer purse. That's obviously going to affect them. And I'm not saying this is like, it sounds like I'm like hating on Miami school systems. I have no idea what it's like there. I was just using that as an example of like, just the culture there is different naturally. And how that would be just a little bit more difficult to like raise your kids in that environment. Darian thinks I would be fine, but I don't know. I just think it's interesting like the way that your environment can affect you, because I know that especially like being a follower of Jesus, like I don't want my value in life to come from anything that I own or have or do not have. And I definitely would have like a hard time not putting my worth in those kind of things. And I just think like the lifestyle there is like so different that it would be such an adjustment. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be fine. Like I know that God takes care of Darren and I, and he always reminds us that like we can't do things without him. And if he's not first, like everything else just feels like so dysfunctional. But it was just funny. Like I don't think the word is insecure, but it's funny when you're there. It's like you're just reminded of like, oh, there's like so many beautiful women and it's hot, so no one's dressed. And like everyone is like spending all this loads of money. Like there's millionaires to your left and right and no one worries about money. And you're sitting at Kiki on the river watching these like $4 million boats go by and everyone's just like doing whatever on a Thursday. Like no one works like a corporate job. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's really easy to like get insecure or compare yourself in those kind of environments. You just have to be careful of like reminding yourself how little those things matter. I honestly did not mean to go on a tangent about this. I was just mainly to tell you guys about Miami, but I don't know. It's just like a good reminder that coming back here, I guess, that like those things are like nice and fun and it's so fun to go see that. But like also our life here is like just as beautiful and fun. And like, I don't know if that's even making sense or if that hits home with any of you guys, but I just feel like environment matters so much. And that was just like a reminder of whenever we were there. But we did have the best time. And I got like 4 different coffees while we were there because I was like, I have to soak this in and I'm going to miss this. And yeah, it was fun for Darren and I to get some time together. Although we did have the worst time getting home. Our flight got delayed. I think it ended up being like 3 hours. So our flight, we were originally supposed to go from Miami to Atlanta to Greenville. And so once we got to Atlanta, our Greenville flight obviously had taken off because we were delayed 3 hours. This was supposed to be like a cutesy little day trip, you know, be gone from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., be home in our beds, have a normal, regular rest of the week. And then because it was delayed, our flight to Atlanta, obviously our flight back home was off and it had taken off, and the people that were supposed to be on that flight were in Greenville as they were supposed to be. But we got to Atlanta at like 12:30 at night. Could not get home, obviously. They rescheduled us for the next flight at 8 a.m. I was like, our kids are at home with my mom who has to be at work at 8 a.m. We do not have time to be flying from Atlanta to Greenville till 8 a.m. And we live about 2.5 hours away from Atlanta. So we had to take an Uber. But you guys don't understand the stress of trying to get an Uber at 1 a.m. to take you 2.5 hours. No Uber wanted to take us. Then we get in the car with the Uber and he's like, oh, I didn't realize that you guys were going to South Carolina. And we're like, yeah, it's 2.5 hours. So we had to barter with this man. And we're like, we will give you extra cash if you take us. Please take us. We have to get home. So we ended up getting into our beds that night at 4 a.m. after a shower and like all of that. It was not what we expected, and being a 24-hour trip and trying to get up with kids after you had been sleep deprived the night before is just not a good combination. But nonetheless, we made it. We're here. And luckily, everything worked out. And then the next day, obviously, I'm sleep deprived. I'm discombobulated. I was supposed to be there in Columbia for a friend's birthday the next night that I thought started at 7. I live an hour and a half away from Columbia. And I really wanted to be there for her. I've had to miss multiple different things for her because we obviously live in different parts of the state. And it's just difficult to make it for like birthday parties and such. And I feel like the time before that she invited me somewhere, I forget what it was, but I couldn't go because Darian was out of town and whatever. I basically was just like, I really want to be there and be a good friend and whatever. And 5:30 rolls around. I forget what time it is. And I go and look at the invite because I'm like looking for the address and I see it starts at 6. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be there in 30 minutes and I'm an hour and a half away. By the time I get there, literally people are going to be leaving. And I immediately started like beating myself up. And I felt so bad. And it brought out a lot of insecurity in me that I didn't really know that I was dealing with. Let me tell you, if you want to know how you really feel about yourself without any kind of masks or pretending, you should let somebody down and see the way you talk about yourself and the way you think about yourself after. And it's so funny because I really did not let her down at all. Like she was like, I totally understand. It's totally fine. I was like, I'm so sorry. I am so discombobulated from the night before. Darian's car was at the airport, so he had to go pick it up. And it ended up being a whole thing. And I was just like so apologetic and sad. And she was like, no, it's fine. I was like, no, it's not fine though. And I was just sitting and beating myself up. And I was like, am I insecure? Because I would not peg me as an insecure person. That's just not a way that I would describe myself really. And yeah, I would say like I'm a secure person. And then that happened and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I need to like dig deep a little bit. And I feel like this kind of goes back to like being off your phone. I know I've been like really harping on that and I've talked about it in a few different episodes, but that's such an important part about being off your phone because it actually makes you sit in silence and reflect of like how you really feel. And if you don't do that, then like moments like this come up and you're like, oh my God, am I like insecure? And that is something that like you should be checking in with yourself. And I definitely had to like have a come to Jesus moment with myself where I was like, maybe I'm like a little insecure about like either the type of friend I am or like I feel like, I don't know, it just brought up a lot for me. Like, oh, do I like not think that people want to invite me places, or am I a bad friend, or I don't do what I say I'm going to do and I'm just trying to do it all and just getting insecure about it and whatever. And so I had to have like a little come to Jesus moment about that because I was like just feeling really insecure and down on myself and really just being mean to myself. And I ended up going on Sunday and getting lunch with her, which I'm so happy that I got to do. And we ended up having one-on-one time, which was great. But I definitely had to like have some quiet time to myself and reflect on like why that maybe came out in me, because a normal response to that would be like, oh, I made a mistake. And I'm not saying that means like don't be a good friend, but I think there is a clear difference of I genuinely made a mistake or I'm not being a good friend and I'm not like being intentional. And this really was like a mistake. And it was mostly because we went to bed at 4 a.m. the night before. Like I normally would check and be more precise about that. But I definitely had to have some quiet time with me and God where I was just like, why is this coming up in me? Why is this like insecurity festering? And I feel a lot better about it now. And I definitely like had to fight the urge of like, I have to make this up to her and I have to blah, 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 which I did want to do. And I feel like that is being a good friend is like, okay, I made a mistake. Like I'm going to make it up because I do want to be, you know, a good intentional friend. But at the same time, like you do have to fight those feelings of beating yourself up and being mean to yourself when you do make a mistake like that, because that's, even though it's normalized and that can come off as you trying to like be a good friend and like, oh, you're just like mad that you're not, you know, a perfect friend or whatever. Like it's fine. It's not fine to like sit and beat yourself up and be mean to yourself. Like it's not helpful. And it's not good to hate yourself. And if you have like self-hatred in your heart towards yourself, I would encourage you to do some self-reflection and maybe see like where that's coming from. Maybe get some counseling. I don't know. I honestly, I don't want to say I've had a hard couple of weeks, but I've definitely had a heavy heart over the last 3 weeks or so. I don't want to say any names just because I don't think it's appropriate, but a very popular content creator that I follow lost her son due to a drowning incident. And it has been truly heartbreaking to imagine the kind of pain that they are feeling and the heartbreak that I feel for them. I mean, I truly just like, I don't even know if I can't even empathize to that extent. Like Darren and I have just been praying for them and had many nights of just tears, just thinking about them and just the heartache that you feel from one mom to another is just unbelievable. But I also was like getting some comments that were a little concerning of just people being like, why haven't you stopped posting? Why haven't you said anything? And the real reason is because I do not know this person. And to me, that would be making it about myself. And also like the concerning parasocial relationship things that I've been seeing through this situation have been so disappointing and sad of them not getting privacy. And for me, I'm like, why would I speak up about a situation that she hasn't even spoken up about? Clearly, they are taking their time to grieve. Their friends and family are taking time to grieve. They knew this little boy personally. You guys did not. I did not. And it should be, I think that we should imitate what the mother and father are doing, which is silence, personally. And I just don't feel comfortable speaking about a situation where she has not spoken up about it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I feel like this creates a good topic of parasocial relationships. And I feel like that word is like thrown around, but people don't actually know what it is. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided emotional connection where someone feels bonded to a public figure like a celebrity or an influencer, or even a fictional character, while the person on the other side has no idea who they are. I think that this can come off harsh because when people were calling people out in this situation about being parasocial, people were like, we watch them every day. We have seen him grow up and she shares her life with us and whatever. And I think that where this gets toxic, and while that is true, I think that the illusion of closeness can lead to disappointment or entitlement in people. And that's where it can get really hazy, and where I feel like we have got to set boundaries as not only viewers, but as content creators, where it's like we share our lives with people. And while it's such a beautiful gift, there has to be some accountability of like viewership where you are not entitled to know other people's lives and you're not entitled to her speaking out. I saw people saying that they're frustrated that Emily didn't say anything. Are you kidding me? Why are we worried about that? Why are we not grieving with a mother who is grieving and being silent about it? We don't have to monetize off of other people's tragedies. I just think that this can get really damaging when people feel betrayed or overly invested in somebody's life where they do not know, and it feels like it's mutual when like in reality that person does not know you and you don't know them. You know what they show you. And I think as someone who puts part of my life online, I'm always grateful when people feel connected to me. Like I love when I get messages and people are like, the way you explain this changed my life. I love your podcast. I love watching your vlogs. Like I love that. That is normal. That's what I hope. Whenever I put that kind of content out there, like I hope that people feel connected to it. I hope that people feel encouraged. I hope that people feel like seen and loved, and that is fine. That is not what I'm saying. I just think that I'm learning to keep some things sacred. And while this was like the most tragic event, I think it's also has taught people the lines of like parasocial relationships where it's like, I'll just give you guys a personal example of what I've dealt with this week. And if this girl is watching, I want you to know I have no hate towards you at all. And I'm not telling you to feel embarrassed or anything like at all. And I hope you do not feel that way. But I got a DM from a girl this week that said that she was coming into town. Mind you, I do not know this person. It was in my follow request, or it was in my DM request. And she said, I'm coming into town. I don't know anybody else in Greenville. And I was wondering if I could borrow a dress for an event. I am hoping that this does not come off mean, because I am not trying to be mean. But this is what I'm kind of talking about, where it's like, you're asking to come into my home, to go into my closet where my children live, and I don't know you. I would never allow a stranger to come into my home where my children live, ever. But this is where lines get blurry, because people feel like, oh, like, you do get ready with me. Like, I feel like I see your closet and I like know you. And while I want you to have the experience of like getting to see my life, of course, and I love sharing my life. Again, I want to reiterate, like, it is a beautiful thing to share your life. I love following people that I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love their content. But I would never like ask them to go into their closet where their kids live and like where their family is, because it's just not there. You have to have lines and boundaries. And I just think that this could get really scary in years to come, where more content creators come up, more content's being pushed out, and people like really lean into that parasocial relationship. Like, if anything, I just think that we need to learn from this experience. Somebody looking up his obituary is so wildly inappropriate. And then people using the excuse, well, she shares her life online. That is not an excuse. Like, that is your responsibility as a viewer to like know boundaries. And I don't know, I just think it's good that we all do our research on parasocial relationships. And if you're a creator, it's okay to set boundaries. And it's not selfish, it's healthy. And again, like, I think that there's so much blessing that comes from, you know, sharing your life online. And anytime I get a sweet DM, anytime I meet anybody and they're like, I love your content, I love your podcast, YouTube, like whatever it is, it makes me beam. I'm like, that makes me so happy. I love meeting you guys, and I love meeting people, and I love getting messages like that. Like, it truly means the world to me. And I always try to come back and tell people it means the world to me, because it does. And I mean every word. But I just think there's like certain messages that I get sometimes where I'm like, oh gosh, like this makes me want to pull back a little bit. And I just think it's good to be self-aware as viewers of like how you're viewing people. And if you feel like you are entitled, I mean, like, we are around people that have way bigger followings than us. And the things that people say to them in person, I mean, my jaw is on the floor. The amount of times that we have seen people ask for pictures, and when it's a not right now, they're like cussing you out and just acting so entitled and just crazy over you saying not right now because you're eating a meal. Like, it's really crazy. Obviously, that's never happened to me, but just people that we've been with where it's like they set a boundary and they're like, I don't take pictures when I'm eating with my family. Like, I like to be present or whatever. And they get cussed out over it because those people feel like, well, this is my one opportunity with you and I'm entitled to you stopping your meal every 20 seconds to take a picture. Like, I don't know. It's just good to be careful. And I really just want to talk about it after some weeks had gone by where I feel like it's good to have a healthy conversation around parasocial relationships, because yeah, I just feel like it's good to be self-aware, folks. It truly is. I've been staring at my Armor drink this entire time because I really need to drink it. And I feel like this is like one of the things that helps me with brain fog. So I'm like trying to chug it so that I don't sound like I'm insane. But I did start a Not Everybody Needs a Podcast TikTok and a Instagram page, because I wanted to just do clips on there so you guys can follow along on there. And then every week I'm going to ask for Mackenzie's mindsets, which this is the first week that I did it. And I got so many replies, which I'm so excited for to go through all of them. And so I want to pull a few of them to do a Mackenzie's Mindset for the week. If you guys don't know, Mackenzie's Mindset is a segment that I do at the end of every episode where I take your personal stories, your personal questions, and I give you guys my mindset on them. This is always one of my favorite parts of every week's episodes. Also, you guys, I've been working on a secret project for a long time now, and we're starting to make some moves on it. And I cannot wait to share it. I actually hate when people do this because then I'm like constantly waiting for it to come out. Hello? Why did I randomly just get stuffy? But I just have to say it because then when I can announce it, I'd be like, I've been teasing it. All right, let's get into Mackenzie's Mindset. The first one, I wanted to answer this because I have a pretty strong stance on this. And I also want to know y'all's takes on it too. But someone asked, as a mom of 3, 5, and under, I am against sleepovers. Times have changed so much. I'm curious on your stance with friends' sleepovers. I never had anything happen to me, but I just have heard so many crazy things. My kids will not be doing sleepovers, and that is because I just do not trust them being out of my sight for that long. I wish that it was different, and they can absolutely have sleepovers with their cousins, like our best friends that have kids. They're welcome to go have sleepovers over there. I mean, we'll probably be there most of the time because most of our kids live in a different area. And like I know them like the back of my hand. I feel like that's a different situation because that's family. Some people won't even let them stay the night with family, and I respect that as well because honestly, this world is crazy. But yeah, my stance is that any of their friends are welcome to come over here, but I've just heard too many things, seen too many things, and am just not comfortable with that. And I think the good thing about the internet is you can be informed about a lot of things that you don't experience personally, but that are out there, and be careful with that because you don't want to live in fear. But I just personally am not going to allow that. Again, anyone is welcome to come over here. I will be the queen of hosting. And they can go and still have fun with their friends, but they're going to be coming home at night because I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not into it. Someone said, what is your mindset on partners with separate religious beliefs? I love this question. I do believe that scripture talks about not being unequally yoked, which can be interpreted a few different ways, but ultimately it means not having different, not views as your partner. I guess let's look it up so I'm not giving a inaccurate description. I want to give the accurate description. I have a stance of basically what it means. It basically means don't be with somebody who does not share the same values and, religious practices as you, just because it creates a lot of conflict. But the actual definition is equally yoked refers to two individuals in a relationship, especially marriage, who shares the same religious beliefs, values, and spiritual goals. It implies a level of spiritual compatibility and alignment, suggesting they are both pursuing God and have a similar vision for their life together. The phrase is often associated with 2 Corinthians 6:14, which advises Christians not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So I do want to say I have heard of multiple different marriages where they went into the marriage and somebody was a Christian, somebody was not, and it ends up working out. And also I've heard stories of people getting saved through their partner. Not through their partner, but they meet Jesus and learn about Jesus through the person that they're married to. And so everything is redeemable. That's the first of all. Second of all, I think if you are already in a relationship and you see that it's causing issues because you guys do not share the same values, if God is your life, if God is your number one, I don't find it very possible to be in a relationship with somebody where that is not the case and then it not cause friction. Now, that is not something that I've dealt with personally, so I'm not going to speak on it personally and give my oh, you should be doing this. That is as far as I'm going to take it as far as advice. But I will say I think that everything is redeemable, and I have seen marriages benefit later on from not somebody not knowing Jesus, but later on in the marriage, somebody ended up meeting Jesus that did not know Jesus because of the other person. And I would just say that is a good way to love your partner, is be consistent in who Jesus has called you to be. I'm speaking to the married people. If you are married to somebody who does not love Jesus, and if there is friction in that area, like, giving grace. And I'm not here to tell anybody to get a divorce or stay together. That is not where I'm giving advice. All I'm going to say is, like, you can be Jesus. You can be Jesus' hands and feet to that person. And I hope this is making sense, guys. I literally have so much brain fog. Like, somebody in the chat, do you have brain fog too? Is this what I need somebody who has brain fog to relate. Like, I'm like fighting for my life to find words. I swear I'm like trying. I think you guys get what I'm saying. I know that there's hope if the other person does not love Jesus, but if you are looking for a partner, my suggestion is that you look for somebody who is equally yoked, who has the same religion as you, the same beliefs. I just feel like your alignment is going to be so much more clear if both of you guys agree on that, because that's such a big part of your life. And if you are really going to make Jesus number one in your life, it will be much easier if the other person is as well, because it's already hard enough if both of you guys are Christians, because you have other things to face. And it's like, if we are hand in hand, both making Jesus number one, we can do anything together. I'm going to do a third one because I'm feeling crazy today. And I want to make my episodes longer. And solo episodes are like a little harder to make longer because I'm literally just chatting with myself to you guys. And it's easier if like I have a guest. But I am going to answer the third question. I also made these like shorter so that I'm not reading like life stories, and I kind of can like make them a little bit more concise. I like a guy, but I think he just wants to be casual. What do I do? T. What would I do in this situation? My mindset on this is all you can do is make it known that you are available and that you have a little crushy crush. Okay. That's all you can do. You cannot control how this man pursues you, if he likes you back, if he wants to date somebody right now. You can't control that. All you can do is control who you are, making it clear like, hey, I like you. I don't know what the case is here, but like, I'm not here to play games. If he wants to be casual, it's time for you to get to scooting though. Because you can't just be sitting around waiting for him to want a girlfriend or whatever, have him like talking to other girls and you're like only liking him. I feel like you should go play the field if he wants to be casual. Play the field sounded like not what I meant. I meant like go find another guy to crush on, okay? Because you don't want to like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not cute for like, I guess for me, if I had a crush on somebody and he was just like, I don't really care, I would be like, okay, I gotta dip and we have to get over this. But that's just my personal opinion. I always feel like I have to say it's my personal opinion because some people get riled up about my personal opinions. Like I had somebody DM me last week and that was like, I did not like your take on the first kiss. And I was like, okay, like, but that is the podcast. Like a podcast is like majority of the time me just giving my opinion and us like chatting about it. And like, I want other people to have other opinions. Like I encourage other opinions. And if somebody wants to kiss somebody on the first date, who am I to stop you? I'm just giving my opinion on if I would or not. And that's that. So I always just want to say like, it's my opinion. If you want to kiss somebody on the first date, smooch away. And I'm not here to judge. I'm really not. If you want to smooch away, I've had friends kiss on the first date and I have no negativity towards them, no judgment towards them. So always take what I say as an opinion and a discussion and just a hot take. Okay. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to interact with you guys more over on the Not Everybody Needs podcast, TikTok and Instagram, because I feel like it's just like more one-on-one with you guys. And it's just like the people that watch the podcast, like you guys get it. But I love you guys so much. I decided for 40K on YouTube, which please subscribe. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, like you honestly are fake. You're fake. Please do it. I want to hit 40K. And once we do, I'm going to be giving away all of my favorites. So think about my favorite jewelry, my favorite drinks, like my protein powder that I always talk about, my armor that I always talk about, my favorite makeup, some of my favorite perfume, etc. I want to give those things away for you guys. I'll do like a huge favorite giveaway for 40K once I hit it. So you guys go subscribe now. And then for Apple and Spotify, as always, you guys can follow along as on there as well. Thank you guys for listening. I really, really appreciate it. I love you guys. And I will see you guys next Monday with a new episode of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast.